Amazon was a really big thing and everybody was going over the Amazon, helped me find a gap in Indian market that there weren't any sneaker based brands.
You could have chosen anything, right? Pretty much you had different options.
It can be that for some businesses, a LinkedIn outbound campaign might turn out very well.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Marketing Tarot, a podcast where we deep dive into the strategy you're currently living, one marketer at a time. I'm your host, Charu, and I'm joined today by someone very special, Shivam Sethi. Hi, Shivam.
Hi, Charu. Thank you for having me over the podcast.
Of course.
I really appreciate it.
No worries. The pleasure is ours. And I think you have a very interesting growth journey, Shivam, and I'm really excited to speak to you about that. I know you come from a B2B SaaS background, and you're currently a fractional CMO. Why don't you take us a little bit about how you got into marketing and what led you to where you are today? So over to you.
Right. So my marketing journey began back in 2018 when I was in college, and Amazon was a really big thing and everybody was going over the Amazon, and e-commerce really sparked my interest, and I wanted to do something related to e-com. And I had a friend who had an Amazon based marketing agency, so I joined his marketing agency where he was helping Amazon brands, and then I learned everything from him, how to manage an Amazon account end to end. And I worked in the same company for over 2 years. And during that time, not sure, we had around 16 to 18 brands during that time. And it did quite well, over $30 million in sales. As a company, we help our clients to, in terms of revenue and scaling the brands, some from start, or we from going 0 to 1, some we help going from 1 to 10. Right, and so on. And after that, back into after 2020, I really wanted to do something of my own when the COVID came, right? And I turned 22, didn't have really done anything for myself in life. I just had learned a few things, so I just always wanted to be an entrepreneur, always wanted to do a bunch of things in my life and create some kind of value that goes beyond me, right? My interest in sneakers and fashion helped me find a gap in Indian market that there weren't any sneaker based brands in India back then. So I started one of the very first Indian sneaker care brand, and I did it for about 3 years. And I started it off as an Instagram page, and I was very much ready to fail because I had only started it to learn a few things of how to start a business, how to do it. But I didn't know how it would go. Then it turned into, I got a lot of traction, and I started getting orders from day one. On my first day of launch, I had like over 2 lakhs in orders. And that was, so because I started creating, posting on internet, on Instagram about it. So people were flooding. I got 400 to 500 inquiries, so I knew within the first 3 weeks that I'm doing something right. I let my dad know about it, and then we started getting the inventory for it. Did more research. I got really good traction and orders. Then I moved to Amazon, built our own Shopify store, started doing what every D2C brand is supposed to do, building websites, social media marketing, performance marketing, did all of that. And so that really started the journey. And by 2023, and especially in 2022, I had a couple of friends and family, actually more than that, who wanted to invest into the business. But at the same time, I was supposed to go to Canada in 2020, but due to COVID, I couldn't. So I don't like to waste time. But since I was moving to Canada now, I didn't want to take anyone's investment because I was really sure scaling product business is really hard. You just keep requiring more capital, more and more in order to scale a lot, right? And I don't come from a lot of money, but I come from a lot of experience from my father being an entrepreneur and his father being an entrepreneur as well, right? So after moving to Canada, I did study more and then started working for more companies, and my experience helped me in e-commerce, and marketing did help me a lot.
Okay.
Procuring my job as well. Then I thought that e-commerce was really saturated. First started my agency in 2023 and it was really saturated. So I didn't decide, actually B2B, GDM and LinkedIn
Mhm.
marketing chose me. I
Okay.
started getting inquiries because I came on LinkedIn, I started doing content and people started reaching out to me. We want you to handle our LinkedIn. And so I couldn't say no because I just had got my business started and I was
Yep.
still a student. So I started doing it and turned out I was fine at it. And then again, when I got graduated, I was able to procure a couple of offer letters, and I chose one that was in a tech startup, like not a tech startup. I worked at ShipStation, and then I was handling their lead generation and doing
Right.
the outbound social marketing strategy for them, right? So that also gave me more confidence to go deeper into B2B DDM, right? Yeah, and that's how I started. And this is where
Okay.
we are today in 2026.
Well, that's awesome. So, what exactly did you study, Shivam? Was it marketing, or was it business development? What was it?
Yes, so I did start with data analysis when I first moved to Canada.
Okay.
Earlier, I had done my graduation in Bachelor of Commerce, and then I wanted to study
Yeah.
more. I
You're a
did
number
data
guy, huh?
analysis. Yeah, it's like so the data thing has been helping me a
Yeah.
lot,
Yes.
and I am very analytical. And as a marketers, I just don't trust, our intuition, but also chase the numbers and
Yes.
see what they are speaking. So I keep it a blend always
Yeah.
in my approach. And simultaneously, after that, my second course was about entrepreneurship management, where I learned more about marketing, supply chain, and how to start handle business, manage a
Mm.
business, and all of that.
Okay.
But
So,
my main education comes from my own experiences of doing my own startups, helping my dad into this business.
yeah, I mean, you got
Right.
the experience hands on, right? So that's
Definitely.
nothing beats that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, what, like, I mean, after your education, right? After you finish your degree, you could have chosen anything, right? Pretty much, you had different options. What kind of attracted you to marketing, and what is still keeping you going? Like, what's it about marketing that you love, basically?
I've always been told to do things that you're very confident you can excel at, right? And to probably be number one. Although it's hard to say that I can be number one in marketing because there are so many players ahead of us. But that's the area I felt most confident in because
Okay.
I had done that before for myself or other businesses, right? So I just said, like, instead of pivoting, finding my new forte, it's better that I just go all into it. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I did.
And I think you've done it right. I mean, you're still very young and you've achieved so much. You have such a good journey, as I mentioned, and that's really what I found when I read your profile. And I was like, wow, he's already a fractional CMO. What are you looking to do? What's your next step? What are you looking to do more?
Well, right now I'm looking to scale my practice more, and I'm trying to build an agency that is not particularly an agency, but a practice that is future ready. Right? I
Mm-hmm.
don't believe in building a big team of 15, 25 professionals, marketing heads, and all of that. I believe in leaner approaches, all focus on because my clients trust me with the what I can build, right?
Yeah.
So I try
Yeah.
to build systems around it. I definitely leverage agentic AIs. I've been leveraging a lot of artificial intelligence through building systems. I've
Mm-hmm.
been leveraging a lot of tools, and along with my small team, I always keep trying to excel in my business. And my next steps would be to start acquiring and working with more and more startups, especially funded startups,
Yeah.
doing seed or Series A, and help them with their go-to-market strategies. That's my main focus right now.
That's amazing. That's great, and I think that's a great segue to our next segment, which is going to be a little interactive, and I think will give your brain a little bit of an exercise. I basically will take you to our marketing tarot portal that I have built, and let me share it with you. It's basically a way to explore marketing through a different lens, right? As you said, marketing is an art and a science, and that's what I keep mentioning. It's really both aspects equally, if you ask me. Sometimes what the data shows you is It's not always how the market operates or the results that you see. And sometimes it's just your intuition that tells you something, and then you kind of act on it, and you see that really that's what was needed in this particular campaign. So um, that's the whole idea behind this portal. What we are going to do is just pick a card out of it and get your perspective and see how that card applies to the marketing strategies that you do for your clients, and how that plays. So, are you ready?
Oh yeah, that's what I'm here for.
Okay. You have any preference, or you want me to pick a card?
Oh, please go ahead. I like to go with my feet. So
Let's
whatever happens, I'm ready for
do
it all.
that. I'm feeling this one. Oh my God. Wow. All right. So, I just given it some terms, just for our viewers. Obviously, campaign is a huge part of the marketing strategy. I think personally, the key lies in how you execute a particular campaign, because, on a whiteboard as an idea, most of the campaigns look pretty optimistic and pretty good creatively, but it's really the implementation and the execution of the campaign that really is, I would say, the winning game, right? And I don't think the last word is very simple. I don't think one campaign will do it for you, or for any marketing agency. You have to have that momentum. What are you going to do after the campaign? What happens to continue that momentum? So, as per me, I think these are the three key terms that are associated with campaign. But Shivam, you tell me, like, how does campaign as a card play a role in any of the strategies that you take up?
I think campaign comes after all the initial ground has been laid, and it's one of the first step towards the execution. After everything has been done, everything has been strategized, then comes the part of the campaign. And how I think of the campaigns is more like I'm a big fan of omni-channel systems, and not I just how I build my campaigns is not just through one channel,
Yes.
and or deciding that we should be doing running Google ads for this person or this business, or we should be doing meta ads or doing social media marketing. Not because I provide it. I study the business. I go through what kind of business it is, what kind of target audience they have, and based on what they're, where they are and where they want to be, I try to build tailored strategies. And this is what I believe in, that it's not like every business needs a retention marketing campaign at the moment, or every business needs a performance marketing campaign at the moment. It's just every business is different, and at very different stage. So it should be built based on what stage they're at, and based on the audit that we have done or done us, or the strategy that we are going to build them for them. It depends very much on that. It can be that for some businesses, a LinkedIn outbound campaign might turn out very well, but if they have a very specific segment, and that segment is not available on, let's say LinkedIn, that target audience, then you
Yes.
gotta pivot. You can we are going to find them on LinkedIn, or you can be like, for a D2C brand, that we are going to target this brand through Google ads. It
Yeah.
might be that people are not searching for it. You got to create brand awareness for it, right?
Yeah.
And this is how you got to be very dynamic about the campaigns, right? What kind of campaigns you're putting. And I always believe in campaigns as a system rather than going after one channel or one specific strategy. I try to create an omni-channel system and launch all of it either in a chronological order, or if needed, all at once, right? It
Yeah.
really depends, again, business to business. And what happens at the end of it is you got to be very dynamic, and not to be ego driven at all. That hey, we started this campaign, it got to work. Most of the times what we think, it might not work. Same in the life, same it applies everywhere, according to
Yeah.
me. So what I think is, like, we got to be very dynamic, see how it's performing. At least give it 7 to 10 days to 14 days. It depends. And for some cases, you got to give it 90 days or 100 days as well, right? So you got to be very, analytical, and keep saying what's happening, and keep optimizing, doubling down on whatever is working, and stop doing, or at least see why it's not working. If you can try to fix it. If it's not working at all, you got to stop it, and at the same time try exploring more channels at the same time, and got to do better, right? And the areas that are working the best, you definitely got to double down on them and keep also at the same time keep testing new things for future
Yes.
campaigns. And I think a campaign shouldn't be very long. It should
Mhm.
be at max 3 months, as for me, because there now in the race of AI and everything that has been happening, the world is moving very fast. So you gotta move fast as well.
Yeah.
So my ideal time is for a campaign is anywhere from 20 to 90 days on most
Mhm.
cases, right?
Yeah.
And this is how I believe we should move in terms of the campaigns.
No, that's awesome. And I'm glad you mentioned about the omni-channel approach because a lot of time people think, campaign is maybe like just a LinkedIn paid campaign, and mostly paid is associated with a campaign, right? It's a maybe a paid LinkedIn campaign, or I don't know if you think TV is still a very good channel, television, but mostly, most often than not, it's associated with a paid medium. Do you think that is the correct way to look at a campaign? Is it always, a paid medium?
Oh no, definitely not. Like even recently, we onboarded a SaaS company who is building a fashion-based product, right? So for them, they are building kind of a new product and kind of their own niche, right? If you start blasting ads for it, it might not
Yes.
make sense, and not everybody has kind of budget. So especially in the beginning, if it's a brand trying to go from 0 to 1, in my opinion, in most cases, when you're trying to go 0 to 1, you shouldn't be going paid, right? You should first
Hmm.
start going organic. It
Yeah.
can be through Instagram, it can be through TikTok. It depends if it's a B2B business. Even for D2C brand owners, I definitely tell them all the time to be on LinkedIn as well. Right, you
Yes.
never know what kind of. There's a brand called Midday Squares. I'm forgetting the name of his founder, but
Hmm.
he is one of my favorite D2C founder of all time. All because I got to know about him through LinkedIn, and he's so active on LinkedIn. You wouldn't believe that it's a D2C brand, and
Okay.
yeah, it's a Canadian business, and they've been doing really well. But at the same time, you got to be very dynamic. You got to think what's going to work for this specific business, right? And as I
Exactly.
said, I never tried to build a performance marketing agency. I never tried to build a social media marketing agency. Or I don't understand businesses that are just retention marketing companies, right?
Yes.
What if like, and they are trying to sell retention marketing to everyone, right?
Mhm.
Maybe they don't need retention marketing right now. They need something else. They need to focus more on their campaigns, paid campaigns right now. They need to or start a newsletter or start doing more organic content, start doing more founder-led content at this time, right?
Yeah.
There's a stage and time for everybody. So you gotta be. That's why another thing that I mentioned, I don't align with the existing marketing and agency model that
Yes.
they are trying to sell everything. Sorry, not everything. They are trying to sell what they are selling to everybody. They are not
Like a
looking.
one size fits all, which never
Right,
works
right, right.
again. Yeah.
Yes. So that's why I like to operate as a fraction CMO, and not everybody can do that. It's something maybe some people are blessed with, or that they can think on those horizons. They can
Yeah.
think differently for everybody, because performance marketing is something you can learn. It's tactics. You
Mhm.
can technical buttons. You can practice it a lot. You learn it, right?
Yeah.
But marketing is kind of thing. You might be a born marketer. You think like that, right? You are an entrepreneur and a leader. It's those kind of things.
Yeah.
So it's very important that you gotta build and be very dynamic and look at every business differently and try
Yeah.
to help them of what they need, not what you need to them to buy,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. And, even their objectives change with time and should change with time. It should. That's how marketing works, right? You question what is the objective, what is the target you want to achieve, as a milestone. And you keep going from one to the other, and then you keep accustoming your strategy and your approach to that. So I think that's great. Thank you for this. And since we are here, I think there's another exercise that I love to do with my guest is basically revealing their best move. Right? You've done so much thus far in your career, and obviously you're going to do much more. I'd love to know what is your best hand of cards. Typically, 3 cards that you mostly have in your mind when you're approaching
Oh, I'm
marketing
sorry.
strategy. That's fine. That's fine. Don't
So
worry.
right.
And I'm gonna,
So I see
it's a
the
bunch
large
of
card. That's mhm. I'm sorry to.
Sorry, I was just saying it's a set of 22 cards. So if you want me to scroll up, scroll down, just let me know. But if you see something here, go for it.
Great. So I would say let's pick them in order, right? And
Okay.
if I gotta just pick three, there's gotta be definitely be the brand first of all, right?
Okay.
They gotta be a brand, and you gotta get the distribution right, and
That's, yeah.
everything. I might not need you to scroll down because I don't live without ROI. Because
Okay.
if there's no ROI, we aren't gonna live for very long in the marketing space, and they're gonna find somebody new, right?
Right.
And there gotta be ROI. If there's no ROI, it's not working, right?
Yes.
So brand should be there. If you got the distribution right,
This disruption.
and
I think I have a channel
then
somewhere.
sorry, you must have a distribution
Yes, I do. I
there,
do.
right?
I
But
think
yes,
it's
the channels should be there, right?
channel. Yeah, that's what it's.
Yes, the channels,
Yeah.
so the brand should be there, and I think these three pillars,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
there's a
then
lot
we
of
do.
things happening
Yeah.
before and after them, in between them. If
Yeah.
all of these three things are in place,
Mhm.
you have pretty much nailed it, right? Once you
Yeah.
build the right brand, you build the right distribution, and you keep executing very well, then I think the ROI is inevitable. And once they're out there, everything is about ROI.
Yeah.
It's the bottom line, right?
Yeah, but tell me, like for startups, right? For really starting companies who just probably have a concept and just a couple of employees and really starting up, like pre-seed kind of a thing. They don't have a brand yet. So how do you leverage that card?
So in today's time, I'm a big fan of personal branding and founder-led marketing, right? So I think if they don't have a big marketing budget or a marketing budget at all, or don't understand how marketing operates, I'm pretty sure they understand their product themselves first, right? They
Yes.
should be able to, they should do a little bit of research and get started with shooting their own content, start putting out short form videos talking about their product. And I've seen some of the tech founders doing it. I've seen a lot of, if you go on Instagram, you will see very random businesses. It can be an export company. It can be somebody selling like fancy lights, and they would be
Mhm.
talking about what they do, right? So you just gotta, you can start with organic content. You can
Yes.
be your own face of the brand, and because if there's a face to a brand, and that's what they're buying from, right? So I think they can start building and talking about their brand, start with the brand awareness themselves as through their personal brand and through founder-led marketing. That's really
yeah.
important.
I think that's the change that we have seen, right? Like earlier, it was a very clear move to have your product, a USP, and then start the branding aspect of things. So currently, I don't think it's you have to get there. You can even start with your own personal branding as a founder, as you mentioned, your story. How did this idea come about? What is it that you're trying to achieve with your company? And I think it creates such a nice flow. Like once you are in that phase where you can really come out with the product, show its features, and have product-based marketing, you create a very nice prerequisite with who you are, where you're coming from, what's your company all about, and then it adds a lot more, I would say, value. When you present the solution. Because a lot of times, when we talk about brand marketing, it's like, I'm just starting. I don't have a brand yet. Well, you are the brand, right? You have to start marketing yourself. And that's the change. You're very right. I have seen as well in most of, especially social media marketing.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of small business owners are starting to do that. Even one of my friends, he is joining his family's business, and they are into steel and iron casting business, right? Imagine marketing that. They're just trying to find buyers globally, and they're based out of Ludhiana, like Punjab in India, right?
Okay.
And I told them, bro, if you don't need to give me any of your money. I don't need your money, or I don't you are my friend. I'm telling you everything right now. Just
Right.
pick up your camera, whatever you are doing on daily basis. Just show people what
So
the
true.
capacity of your factory is, what you guys are making, right? Try to make it funny if you can. Try saying something funny. But even if not, right? Like if you don't have any humor, that's all right. I try to relate everything with humor. Maybe I have a lot, right? But anyways, you just pick up the camera, you start talking about it. It's not about the metrics if it's going to reach in millions, but right now how meta algorithm is working. If you've got to say the right words, right? If he's trying to find buyers in
Yeah.
US,
Yeah.
right? He can say that he's making these steel casting products out of steel, right? And he's shipping them out to US. The
Yep.
algorithm will work. If he makes 10 videos like that, I'm very sure somebody in US will start seeing those videos and it will
Catch
start
it.
popping
Yeah.
in his buyers. And that's how the
Yeah.
algorithms work. And that's all it requires. Not everybody needs to go viral. And we have seen this with another one of our clients who is trying to who is artificial intelligence consultant for
Mhm.
businesses based out of US, and he is not getting a lot of views on his Instagram, and his you can say his videos got like a lot of attention. And you know what were the numbers of a lot of attention for him? Was just like
Mhm.
10 15,000 views, because it reached the right people. It's not about
Exactly.
reaching 10 15. The only content that is reaching everybody, it's like it's hilarious content. It involves a lot of humor, and you're doing just it for the sake of for
Visibility.
entertainment,
Yeah.
right? But for business content, you just gotta say the right things. You just gotta be very consistent. Keep putting your story out there. You will find it's more like the algorithm has been tuned such a way that it works more like a destiny, right?
Yes.
You keep asking for it, you keep manifesting it, and it will come to you.
Wow, so
Right.
nicely put, and that absolutely works with my theme of the tarot, right? You keep manifesting and keep getting some signals, and you keep optimizing it in a way. And as you said, the ultimate move is, or the aim is, not to reach the whole world, but to reach the right section of people that you want to target. And if that happens, even with, I would say 10,000 is also huge. Even if it happens for 1,000 or 500 to start with, and you reach a good section of your target audience, there you go. You've started something, and it's only gonna multiply. So.
Right. Something interesting I like to add here. I heard Alex Hermosi say it.
Mhm.
People, many traders, and even us, we would try about, only 300 people saw my video on YouTube,
Yeah.
right? And Hermosi said he once posted a picture of a room where only 300 people were listening to him. And he said, this is what a room of 300 people look like.
Exactly.
And if thousands of people are looking at your content, imagine thousands of people sitting in an auditorium all listening to you. And
Yeah.
so even 100, right? You just got to find the right audience. These
Yeah.
millions, and it's just something that plays with our minds and keeps a lot of people get demotivated by this, that they aren't reaching those millions and metrics, right?
Yeah.
So they just got to
Completely agree.
imagine, what if some
Completely.
500 people showed out of their house or their office? Wouldn't it be overwhelming for them? And they won't be able to manage them, right? They won't be able to handle the chaos. It will be chaotic for them. And
Yeah.
when it just shows like a small number in 3 digits, they feel too small about it. And I think that's what keeping a lot of people from making content. And this is something I've taken out of my mind. And you will see a video coming out from my account soon.
That is amazing. That's amazing. Can't wait, Shivam. And I would love to know from you, what is your take on AI in marketing? Tell me something about it. Maybe a couple of lines of what do you think?
Right. So first of all, human factor is always gonna be there, and AI is only as smart as you. And not even that. Not even it can never be as smart as us. It can only make us more efficient, be faster, right, with our execution. This is what I think. And also fill in the gaps of things that would take you a lot of years to know about, right? It's only filling those gaps for you. It's really
Right.
good for content writing. And I don't leverage just OpenAI for my content writing, right? Once I've made notes of what kind of content I'm going to put out there, I might be putting it through Claude sometimes. I might be putting it through ChatGPT sometimes, and see which one has written the best outcome of what kind of content I wanted to put out, right?
Right.
This is just an example. of so I think what AI is doing right now is just making execution faster and smarter, right? And you don't need to be the guy who knows it all, right?
Yes.
You,
Yes.
if you are somebody who just knows a brief about everything, at least knows how things work, right? Then even then you can pretty much, if you know what, let's say if you're trying to build logos for a business and trying to build a brand kit, at least if you know, you don't need a 4-year degree to build the most solid brand. If you understand what how human psychology works and what kind of brand archetypes exist, if you just know about the concept, right? And if you're able to tell, let's say, ChatGPT about this is the kind of brand my client or I am trying to build, right?
Yep.
If you can help me put this into a right brand, find the brand archetype, find the right brand prism for it, right? What kind of psychological impacts I can create through the branding kit in terms of like the colors and all. That's the gap it can help you build,
Yes.
right? You don't need to study tons of books for it anymore. And these are the things it's gonna help you with. And in terms of tools, every day there's a new tool out there. And I don't care about 99.99% of them. I just look at the ones that are really good. And if something is, I don't even try to keep track of everything because it's just more noise, right? And I initially, when I got started in the space, I was trying to keep up with everything. I
Yes.
realized it's not going to make sense. You just got to stick to one approach and keep doing it. If something is so disruptive, so good, just like ChatGPT was back then, you would know about it, right?
Yes.
Same way
Super.
I have turned
Yeah.
out all the political news, every kind of news on my Instagram, YouTube, and Google, because that's again a lot of noise. If something is really big, very disruptive, somebody will tell me about it.
Yeah.
I'll read about it somewhere multiple times, and that will give me the confidence to go ahead with it.
Interesting. Interesting. I think why I ask you this is because a lot of the questions or queries, and we do have this ritual of a guest who comes on our podcast kind of leaves with a question or a challenge, or just an opinion that he or she wants to have for other marketeers, right? And then the previous guest was just here, Jenny. She was very intrigued to know that with all of these plethora of tools coming in, right? Do you actually, buy a ready-made platform, or do you build something? Do you learn the technical side, a little bit of a coding to build your own marketing tools, put in your brand voice, learn a little bit of integration? It will still be not very detailed technical. You can still build with a little bit of knowledge, but there are some platforms that are ready-made. You don't have to do anything with them. So what's a better, I would say, long-term leverage as a marketeer, according to you, right? Whether you build or you buy. What's your take on that?
It really depends on platform to platform what they are providing us, right? In most cases, as I mentioned earlier, if it's really providing me value, and then I will see. Like for example, I recently got to know about what Google App Scripts can do. Basically, you don't need any email automation software if you are just trying to scale up to, let's say, 1,000 emails, 500, 100 emails a day, right? You can build a free of cost email automation using Google Apps Script. It would be sending out all the emails. It would be taking care of all the follow-ups, and you can do this all free of cost through Google Apps Scripts. And I was very fumed when, like, how I didn't know about this, or I've never seen anybody talk about it on internet. And I'm gonna be talking about it soon on through my content as well, very soon. It's one of those things, like I might not be able to, like, not everybody can get a Clay subscription because it's really expensive and you gotta match it with the right? So I might be looking at what kind of key things Clay is doing, like what kind of signals it is looking for, right? I might get an intern. I might build in an agentic automation or workflow that is taking care of the key areas, right? And I might try to build those signals for myself. Even just using Claude Code, I can build personalized email campaigns for all hundreds and thousands of prospects that I have. right? So it
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
depends on what kind of tool is coming. But I definitely don't go after all of them or even try to keep track of all of them because it's just
Yeah.
noise. And everything that is being done really good, it's really effective. OpenAI, Meta, or Gemini or Google, they're gonna just take over the
They
company
will pick
or
it
they're
up.
gonna build
Yeah.
a product. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
agree.
it happens Manus.im, right? I use Manus a lot, and recently, 3 to 4 weeks ago, Meta acquired them, right? So it was really good, and it was irreplaceable. They couldn't do anything as good as them, being
Mhm.
company of their stature. So yeah, it just depends. It's a very dynamic environment. Life is
Yeah.
very dynamic. You gotta be on your toes all the time and think about everything all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. And I again, I think one of the reasons why she asked is because of the pricing, right? I think one of the softwares or the apps were ridiculously priced. It was giving her everything she needed, but I think again in today's day and age, it's really a matter of researching and looking for alternatives because 90% of the time you will find something that can do it for much lesser or even free or with a little bit of help from a freelancer. You could do it for much lesser than what a platform is asking, so that has to play a
Yes.
role in that as well. And my last thing for you is if you have something that you would like to know from your fellow marketers or our next guest, and if there's something that is going on in your mind currently.
Yes, I would like to know, like something that we were talking about earlier, how people approach a brand. Like, is everybody still thinking that they should be, if there's a social media marketing company, or is everybody just trying to pitch social media marketing to everyone, or
Mhm.
they are very dynamic, especially the kind of marketers that say that they help businesses scale or brand scale. I want to understand how everybody else is thinking in terms of,
Okay.
are they very dynamic with their approach? Are they looking to, like, first auditing the brands, understanding what stage they're at and where they want to be, and include the kind of channels for them? Or they're just chasing, let's say somebody is looking for growth through, or for their business and trying to build a brand from 0 to 1, right?
Right.
And right at the same time, so are they building a strategy that is very dynamic to their very specific target audience and their
Mm-hmm.
product, or they are just providing them the specific channel, right?
Yes.
So my
Yes.
question, right, right.
I got it. I got it. So basically, you're saying is there a textbook strategy for brand visibility, right? As soon as you hear that word, do you just go to that set of channels, or do you take it as any other challenge where you look into it? You look into the problem, you try to find, which is the best approach, and then you create a strategy. I mean, a relevant question, I would think, and I'm hoping most of the marketers don't just go with the textbook strategy and approach it as any other marketing problem. But I'll be happy to ask this to our next guest. Thank you for that, Shivam. And here we are at the end of our conversation. Do you have anything you have to say?
Oh, no, I really enjoyed my time on over this podcast, and I would be waiting, like, when this comes out and to watch it. And I would wish you all the very best for the growth of your podcast
Thank
and
you.
whatever you want to achieve in life, right? And whatever you plan to do, right? So yeah, it's been a really interesting time.
Perfect.
Right.
Thank you so much. I think I really had a blast speaking with you. Really, when I think while we were talking, we just we touched on so many aspects. So I think that's a really interesting conversation we had there, and I hope people get some insights and some motivation once they see this. So thank you again for coming, and have a great evening. And thanks for joining us, everybody. Bye.
Right. Thanks so much.